3 decades, our nation has been divided along ethnic and religious lines. A nation that promised so much to the world has been divided and destroyed. Hope has come. A new generation of leaders with a deep desire to make a difference have made themselves known from across the nation, representing every ethnicity and religion. And they continue to grow, and it is our duty to empower them. Once we empower them, they will connect with each other. And when we do, we would experience the prosperity and the greatness of our Sri Lanka. But before we go there, let us now reconcile. One smile,
එක් සිනහවක්,
ஒரு சிரிப்பு,
one people,
එක් ජන සමාජයක්,
ஒரு தேசம்,
one Sri Lanka.
එක් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවක්.
ஒரு ஸ்ரீலங்கா.
For 30 years, Sri Lanka has had a civil war that has divided our nation along ethnic lines. And even preceding the war, there were ethnic tensions and hostilities among the various groups of people that live in this beautiful island. And as a result, there's a lot of healing that it needs to be done in our country if we are to truly see ourselves as Sri Lankans. Sri Lanka Unites is committed to make a new generation of people who do not see each other as enemies, but see each other as brothers and sisters of one nation. For many years, we were incapable of doing that. One ethnicity saw the other ethnicity as a threat, and all of us found ourselves guilty of this wrongdoing.
I come from a mixed family. My mother is a Tamil and my dad a Sinhalese Buddhist. And I feel that the thing that has gone wrong with their generation, it was that they didn't understand each other. And in our generation, we've been born into a country of war. We've been born into this, and that's all we know.
But we need to learn from the past. We need to learn from the mistakes that our parents made and not make the same mistakes.
Sri Lanka has massive potential, but none of that can be achieved unless the people of the country come together.
As I'm speaking to you right now, we are 9 days away from the conference. The Future Leaders Conference will serve as a beginning to an even greater process of impacting the grassroots.
The concept was to bring people from various parts of the country, different languages, different ethnicities, religious groups, and to see how you can actually build a united Sri Lanka.
We want to bring the youth together and make a platform for them to come together, understand their differences, value the differences, and bring unity through diversity.
The importance is that we identify young leaders in their communities and empower them to make a difference within those communities.
So the fact that there are kids from right across the country and that they're brought into one place is really exciting, because now we could help them mold to think differently, because the war is over now.
The war has come to an end, and it's the beginning of a new era. And now more than ever, the importance of our organization, Sri Lanka Unites, has shown itself not just to us, but to the entire Sri Lankan community, especially the younger generation. We have been blessed at Sri Lanka Unites to have extremely gifted, diverse young people come together to make this vision a reality. Our team consists of people representing every ethnicity, every language, and every religion that Sri Lanka has to offer, who had nothing in common but the commitment for reconciliation has been the underlying theme that has brought us together.
I'm a Tamil, and I work with Sinhalese in here. I work with Burgers. We've turned out to be a family, and we share some great jokes, and we really have a ball of a time when we work on a good thing. End of the day, that's what we want to have.
We enjoy each other, we work together, we dream together, we sharpen each other, and I feel it has become a microcosm of what we would like to see as a nation. The conference is coming closer, applications are coming in from all across the nation, and we're excited at the quality of student leaders we've been able to attract.
What excites me about the conference? Pretty much everything. But one of the main areas is I think the fact that we are bringing together the top student leaders of all ethnicities, something that has never happened before.
What we're doing right now is rooming them with students from a different ethnicity, from a different religious background, and who also have common ground so that they will be able to have discussions and get to know each other. Along with that, the program, the opening ceremony, the closing ceremony, the sessions where the speakers will be speaking on various issues are all being prepared right now. We're mostly excited about the quality of speakers we have as well, because these are some of the most eminent Sri Lankan leaders who will be speaking to the best young leaders in our country.
It makes me feel that, okay, this is not just a run-of-the-mill youth organization or just another youth conference. It is really taking these kids to the higher level, giving them an experience like no other.
Before the conference evening was to start, things were haywire. So we had a ton of things to do, from sorting out 450 meals 3 times a day, making sure tea was there for the teachers, looking out for how our guest speakers are coming, transportation for all the students arriving to the venue. It was very tiring, but we get this one right, we get it nailed down on the first day, the next of the 4 days will be ironed out and it will move smoothly.
At this conference, we were able to attract 320 student leaders and prefects from 50 schools across the island. And out of these districts, we also had students from Jaffna, from Badiklo, from Mathura, Colombo, and all the other districts around as well. The exciting thing was it was evenly distributed among Sinhalese, Tamils, Muslims, and other ethnicities, all being represented at this conference.
And that's what we are really gunning for at Sri Lanka Unites, not just to get kids from certain parts of the country. We, as a standard, we want to get everyone from all over the country this year.
Students, on the day they arrived, they were all a bit grumpy. It was a long journey for them.
When we first came here, the students were a little bit apprehensive. Of course, they don't talk the same language. So there's a huge language barrier, which, of course, is still there.
The students were pretty shy. I think they'd been split up from their friends. They were a bit unsure about what was going on. They knew that they were in different teams and that they should have a bit of team spirit, but they were still not sure that they wanted to speak even to the person next to them.
Everyone was very quiet and quite nervous, and it seemed like people weren't really kind of coming out themselves and getting to know each other and getting involved and getting excited. Everyone was completely exhausted, kind of shuffling around, like people in the visa office who didn't know where they were meant to be.
Students
When they came to know they have to share rooms with unknown people, that's when you saw their faces dropping all the way to the ground.
One of the key elements of the conference was when these kids were divided into smaller groups. We wanted to see a lot of interaction because each group consisted of students from different parts of the country. And they would function as a team. They would forget their schools and function as a team for the 5 days of the conference.
It's been fantastic working as a volunteer in amongst the diverse groups of children or students.
Our role is really to get to know all of the students and interact with them. In the morning we have like a group time for about half an hour or 45 minutes. And that's the time where we summarize the activities of the day and we kind of get them talking about the issue. What they had to talk about was the deep root causes of the divide in Sri Lanka. And that is what really caused the racial divide. And we're not talking about things on the surface. Why do people in any country divide? And why is there crime and etc. in any nation in this world? We asked them to come up with a solution. They're all going to come up with different solutions because they're all from different parts of the country and they have unique life experiences. So the idea was so that they respect each other's solutions and try to implement all of their solutions together, which is very possible.
We realized that language was an issue and the kids realized it. This was an important realization because they may have heard on TV, they may have heard ministers talking about the fact that language policy is a national issue. But these kids realized it for themselves over these 5 days.
Most of the time I've been speaking in English actually because we've had translators on either side, so it's easier. I am working with 2 other volunteers who speak Tamil also and do a lot of translation to Tamil. We have one student in our group who is trilingual and she translates to the Sinhalese.
The translations made by
two ways. One is direct translation, another one is made by the professional translations through the headphones. When the main speaker speaks in English, the other two translations behind the stage, they translated the mics to the headphones.
The speakers at the conference were pretty much the most prominent people in their fields that we could get.
It's not often realized how privileged we are that four of the great religions of the world have lived here side by side for hundreds of years. Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity and Islam are all part of our common culture.
You are born a Tamil. We can't change it. But be a Sri Lankan. Don't stop being a Tamil. You are born a Sinhalese. Be a Sinhalese. But be Sri Lankan. So like that, you are born a Buddhist, you are born a Christian, be that, practice that, but give respect to the others. There is no issue at all if you learn tolerance.
Learn the language of the other. That's the best form of coexistence, is when you know the language of the other.
This is the moment that has come for us to forge ahead together as one nation. Unitedly we stand to deliver Sri Lanka's huge potential for the betterment of our country. The potential of Sri Lanka is now in your hands. It is you who can make the difference.
Our keynote speaker on the first day was Ambassador Jayantha Dhanapala, who was the former Under-Secretary in the UN for disarmament. It was extremely encouraging for us when he said that he would speak at our conference.
We cannot achieve peace overnight. Peace must begin in the minds of all of us. And what is happening today in this 5 days that you will spend here is the creation of the right mindset to approach this new period of a reconstruction of Sri Lanka as a peaceful, united country.
It's the beginning of new era. It is yours. That is why you are here as future leaders. I thank once again the organizers of Sri Lanka Unites for organizing this type of program. I wish all these young students will become future leaders as one nation. Thank you.
The speeches were also it was really meaningful, and the questions were really answered well.
They asked very intelligent questions. They're deeply concerned about what has happened, but more concerned about what is going to happen.
As a team, we are aware of the issues, but we also know that if you want a 15-year-old kid to really understand reconciliation, you can't just preach at them. We need them to feel it in their hearts.
My name is James Lee. I'm really glad to be here in Sri Lanka.
The Chinese have a character that means crisis. The Chinese character for crisis is the same character for opportunity. And with crisis, there is opportunity. You have a time of coming out of great crisis. But because of this crisis, you also have a chance for great opportunity. The very people, when I was a boy, that I was very angry with, are the very people that I work with today. The people that I was so angry with are now my best friends. You have this opportunity in your country, this power to give to others.
Sri Lanka's most loved superstar, Sanath Jayasuriya.
As Jayasuriya entered